I
Man,
wasn't ready.
dude,
Gunther is our new world heavyweight champion. The train has ended for Jey Uso. The train has stopped. Man, what do you think of the match? What do you think of the outcome?
beginning to end, dude, I loved it. I loved him coming out with his son. The crowd was hype. Everything about it felt like a big match feel. And I love this rivalry between Gunther and Jey Uso. The ending of the match with the sleeper holds back and forth. Just such a story told. And yeah, I mean, at this point, was the juice worth the squeeze with the Jey Uso World Heavyweight Championship run?
Yeah, I think that's a very, very good question. And, I don't know if you caught some of the after show video, Maddie, of Jay cutting the promo, kind of the heartfelt there with his son in the ring and that sort of thing. And I think that's a good question of like, okay, well, where does Jey Uso go now? Because he got so many cracks at Gunther, and then Gunther comes back and beats him once again. And to your point, out of the what last night was match number four, right? Or five.
Five, four and
So
one.
he's 4-1 against, or 1-4 against Gunther rather, and you know, losing the way that he did, I think it's well enough that Jay kind of moves on to other challenges, and maybe he can get back in the world heavyweight title picture at some point. But I, I think it's done enough good for Jay. I think it's made him a superstar. I think it's made him a worthy competitor. He's not the guy anymore that you think is going to lose every single time in a big situation. And Gunther always looks like a monster. You know what I mean? So I think he's got enough fresh challenges there in the way. And you've already saw it. Well, we'll get to that more about Money in the Bank, but the lingering Money in the Bank winner, right? That he's got to
Right.
worry about.
Well, and I think it kind of worked out because we're talking about Jey Uso. Was it the juice worth the squeeze? And I think it was because we've seen other superstars have that white hot heat where they should have been put maybe the strap on them just for a long run. They did it with Jey Uso. They didn't do it with Sami Zayn. They didn't do it with LA Knight. We've seen other guys have that momentum that Jey Uso had. So
Mm-hmm.
props to WWE for figuring that out and realizing that, hey, even if it's a short run, it's still going to, elevate this guy.
Yeah, I think so as well, and I think that was their best match out of the series of five. So I think that's kind of a good way to, to climax that series and move on for both of them on to different sorts of challenges. And Gunther, man, he cut a promo on the way back to the gorilla position, and it was on a lot of the WWE digitals and socials. He said he's just not up to it. And so Gunther is back to being this big, just overarching, imposing heel. And I would be remiss, Maddie, if after the Nikki Bella return that we got last night on Monday Night Raw, if we get the Goldberg return down the line, don't you think that means a little bit more with Gunther retiring him as champion, as this imposing figure, as the top of WWE?
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen how they've booked Gunther. He's wrestled what, 2 matches
Yep.
since WrestleMania. I think that was a telltale sign. Pat McAfee, and now this. And if you do have Goldberg, who did have that streak, there's so much
Mhm.
momentum with Goldberg's just the legend of Goldberg. I think Gunther's the guy. You just keep letting him be dominant, and beating Goldberg and retiring him is a match made in heaven.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so as well. And I think it's good for Raw to continue to have this type of surprise towards the end of Raw, or just really anywhere within Raw, and making it that must see destination sort of TV, because you never know when a title like this is going to change hands. It's not just at the PLEs anymore, it's literally any given show for WWE. The only thing I thought was missing, and I hope that they go back to, I don't know if you caught it, Maddie, but they didn't give the and new champion, or the and new world champion in the background on the ribbon boards and
Gotcha.
on the Tron. I thought that was a nice touch. They still gave him the fireworks, which is great, but I just think that adds a little bit more to the
Oh yeah.
celebration when these happen.
Just such a big moment,
Yeah,
especially on Raw, the world
right,
champion. I
right.
mean, dude, I wonder how many times that's happened in the last 20 years that the
Not
world
much.
titles, it's got to be a handful.
Yeah,
I mean, at most. So, yeah, congrats to Gunther. He is who we, want, that big bad heel. And now that really, we've got Cena and we've got Gunther as your world champs, two heels. So, what does that mean for the future of WWE currently?
I think it's going to give us some good chases, from the baby faces because you have, well, I guess not that Seth Rollins is necessarily a face, but so I mean, even the heels are kind of in prime position, which we'll get into more as we get into the Money in the Bank PLE. We are at WrestleMats, Facebook, YouTube, and on X. You can follow along, comment, hit us up with anything that you are thinking that we are talking about.